Hiya darlings, it's Colleen from Siempre Soul 1111. I hope you're all doing well. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to each and every single one of you that has subscribed to my channel, liked a video, commented on a video, donated to the channel. I am honestly, truly grateful for each and every energy exchange that I've had with each of you. It's really honestly wonderful to hear people's feedback and to hear that the readings have resonated and helped you guys, because that is the purpose of the channel in the first place. You know, this reading, I've changed, mixed up the format of the twin flame readings now, and I'm starting to separate them into 3 different categories because I know that when I do the general readings, they tend to pick up on different collectives, and I kind of want to try and drill into and focus on and feel the energy of different scenarios or collectives within the twin flame groups. So the ones I'm going to be focusing on are the twin flames in communication. I've got the twin flames in separation with no communication, and then I've got twin flames that are in sort of third party scenarios. So this video is going to be split by divine feminine and divine masculine energies. I'm going to be looking at how you're feeling, what you're thinking, blockages, and then we're going to look at what the actions are. Now, the readings are timeless, and the energy, as you know, is interchangeable. So if I say the words he or she, it is just generally relative to the energy and not the gender, the physical gender of the person. If the reading resonates with you, then great, feel free to let me know. If the reading doesn't resonate with you, then it's just not your energies that I'm picking up on at this time. So as I said, this reading is for the twins that are in no communication and or in separation. Okay, and what I will do is I will start off with the feminines first, and then I will do the masculines, and there will be a timestamp below to tell you when the masculine video starts, so that you know, if there's cross watchers or masculines that want to watch it but they're not wanting to watch the feminine part, you can skip straight to the next part of the video. I just think it's cleaner to do one after the other, if that makes sense. Now, I'm using an oracle deck, which is a twin flame communication deck for feminines and masculines by Awakened Twin, and I'm going to use those as the starting point, and then pull tarot cards to give further information on what's going on within the collective that I'm picking up on. I've also got an Instagram page, so if any of you are on Instagram and you want to check my page out, I do readings on there each week. And you're more than welcome to go over there and follow the channel and be updated when I put readings up on there. The channel name is Siempre Soul 1111, so feel free to scoot over there if you like. I'm going to move on now. My intro's lasted 2.5 minutes, so I'm going to move on to the reading now for the divine feminines in no communication and or separation. Okay, so the first part of the reading, feminines, we're going to be looking at what you're thinking about this connection. Okay, so I'm going to lay these cards out and do it this way because I feel compelled to. I am an Empress. Feminines, has this latest separation phase and no communication phase been because of this? Is it you that's instigated this for the first time? My connection with my guides is strengthening. Well, of course, you're in your Empress energy right now, so of course it's going to be strong. I'm going to take a little look. I do feel for this collective of feminines that I'm picking up on here have been the ones that instigated this recent sort of separation or distance or no communication, definitely. And I feel that there's complete surrender here. I don't feel any energy of loss at the minute or fear. I feel a calmness at the moment, actually. Let's see what's happening. What are the feminines thinking about this connection, please, Spirit? I'm going to go one more. Okay, so I feel that with this energy, I feel a little bit like this energy here can be a little bit like feeling sorry for yourself. It can be a bit I don't want to say this, but I'm going to, woe is me. And this may resonate with some of you, may not. But I feel a little bit like this latest separation phase has instigated this energy within the connection at the moment for your masculines. But I feel that they're also looking across at you. Look, I mean, this this guy in these cards is looking across at that King of Pentacles and just seeing nothing but stability. It's almost a bit like we've also got the Devil here, and this Devil can be about feeling stuck, feeling trapped. It can be about anger. But I feel for this reading, I feel you've almost cut the chains that bind you. You've not cut the chains to the connection or your masculine, but you've surrendered enough to cut the chains so that it's not dragging you down. You're mentally not feeling that. You're focusing on grounding your energies and being this Empress. And the King of Pentacles, you know, is very solid. I actually really like the energy of this card because it's sort of being centered, grounded, stable, secure, all these good masculine energies and qualities that in the early stages of the connection for the feminines, it can sometimes that's missing because you're chasing or you're wanting to attract that energy of the connection. And then, you know, for some it can be that sort of healing, abandonment and rejection and all the wounds and the triggers that flare up. And it's almost like I feel that this collective, even though there's no communication, there's huge progress being made in terms of your masculine energies awakening and you just saying, you know what, I'm just going to do me. I'm sound as a pound, as we say in London. You know, I am rock solid. And I feel that, you know, when you look at these cards, you've got the guy here looking at the King of Pentacles, and then you've got this energy here with the Devil, where perhaps for a while, feminines, you felt really stuck and perhaps even, you know, felt a little bit like, why me, what do I do? And then I feel almost a little bit like these chains that were keeping you stuck in the same position, not really moving forward. You've come away from that, and look, this guy's looking at the King and these two are looking at themselves, but the King's just looking forward, like, that's the direction I'm going. I'm not looking left, I'm not looking right, I'm looking forward, onwards and upwards. And I think that's a really beautiful, stable energy. Empress along with the King of Pentacles is just beauty. Stunning, stunning energy. So, you know, well done, you guys. I think most would say that's not an easy position to get to. It takes a lot of time, patience and love, you know, and healing. It's a lot of work, a lot of the time for everybody. But yeah, I just feel like a peaceful element of harmony here. Just let go. You've not walked away and you're not ignoring the connection. I think it's just letting go of the attachments and, you know, can be quite toxic. I mean, this guy's attached, just holding that wand for dear life, look. And I think you've just let that wand drop. Brought it back to self, to you, to I. Okay, so in the heart space, we've got, I do energy healing in dream state. So again, feminines, you may well be having communication for your masculines in your dream state, but you may also be, you know, doing a lot of healing in that time. You're feeling, I feel with this energy, you're feeling rested. You're actually getting sleep. I anticipate that this process meant there was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a heightened state of anxiety and stress and frustration for a long, long time for you guys. And now you're getting peaceful sleep. That healing's happening as well. You know, sleep heals as well, you know. And I dance to my own rhythm. So yeah, this collective of feminines, you know, obviously you're not in communication, you are in separation with your masculines, but at the moment you're living your best life. I really do feel that. Okay, so we're going to take a little look with tarot cards now in the heart space. So how are the feminines feeling? that are in no communication with their masculines, or they're in separation with their masculines at this present time. How are their feminines feeling, Spirit, please? We'll go with one more. You know what they're thinking. I'm an empress. That's what they're thinking. Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the Two of Swords here. So, you know, it's come out in the reverse, sorry. So again, this is about, I'm not entertaining. I see this. I'm not entertaining this. I'm not mentally getting stuck anymore. I'm not burying my head in the sand. I'm accepting this. I am taking back control. That is the energy I feel with these two. It's, you know, what is meant to be for me will be. It's a unwavering faith that actually this isn't about making choices. This is about releasing the need to have, you know, releasing the need to control or be decisive or be pre-thought out. It's that energy of acceptance. That's what I feel with this. It's acceptance. Moving away from that feeling of being trapped and stuck and heartbroken and lost. This, look, we've got barbed wire around this heart, and we've got chains in the Devil card. This is release. This is releasing yourself in the most beautiful way. It's not releasing with anger or resentment. It's just, that's how I feel. It's a harmonious feeling to just release, let go. You know, we've got the King of Cups come out also in reverse, which is in obviously the heart space. So I feel that coming out in the reverse is about your masculine needing to step forward, and whether your masculine does or doesn't, your masculine for you needs to be emotionally grounded. You want that for them. This isn't because I want you to do this for me. The energy of this is what I want you to be, masculine. I want you to be emotionally stable, emotionally happy. I want you to be the emperor to my empress. You know, and right now, your masculine's not there. And instead of, you know, healing is such an inside job. It's not something you can do for someone else. They need to heal for themselves, by themselves. And I feel the energies of this is you saying to your masculines, I'm sending you love, I am here for you, but right now I need to be there for myself, and right now you're not being there for you either. And I think that is the energy of this for me at the moment. That's how I feel this is. Right, so we're going to take a little look for the feminines in, what's the next bit? Sorry, actions. I've written it down because it's a new format. I don't want to forget what I'm doing. So we're going to look at what the actions are for the feminine at the moment. Oh no, not actions, sorry. Blockages. See, I even write it down and I read it wrong. I'm just nuts, I think, in my own kind of crazy way. But hey, love me. I'm like Marmite, I think. But I like Marmite, so it's alright. So, feminines in no communication or in separation with their masculines at the moment. What are the blockages for you guys within this collective at the moment? Shall we take a look? My ascension is my main mission, and you need to cleanse your energy. So again, yeah, this you know, at the end of the day, forward movement in this for you at the moment in terms of your connection with your divine masculine. The blockage is exactly that. You need to clear your energy, and that's the same as releasing the chains or cutting the barbed wire, like I was saying earlier. And my ascension is my main mission. So I do feel that, I'm not saying here that the energy of the current blockage is that you put the connection on the back burner, because it's not possible to do that, because your twin is always with you, regardless of whether it's physical or energetically, in dream state, telepathy, whatever. They're always present because they are you. But I feel that at the moment, it's almost like you've been able to get yourself to a stage where when that energy or that situation happens and you feel their presence, you're able to ground it, send them love, but ground that energy so that it's not consuming you. You know, it's not consuming the essence of who you are. It's not causing heartache anymore, because you're able to say, you know what, I'm sending you love, I love you, but focus on your own healing right now. There's work to be done, you know, and right now your ascension is at the forefront and your masculine is alongside that, but your focus is there on ascension at the minute. And that's a really good thing, but I think for a small while perhaps that's not been your focus. I said to in the previous group I've just done a reading for, which are twin flames in communication, and in that I used, and I'm going to put this I think on every video because I think it may resonate with quite a few of you, and it was just something that I channeled whilst I was talking, like I often do, waffling on, and I had this vision of a mirror. And when we talk about twin flames being the direct mirror of yourself from the opposite back to front, when you look at this, if you've got a mirror and you imagine a circle here that says you, and then a circle here that says divine masculine, every time, feminines, that you're moving more towards, so this side is the feminine energy, this side is the masculine energy, and if you're direct mirrors of one another, you've got you here, and then your divine masculine there, and the opposite this side, so your divine masculine, and then his divine, their divine feminine. If you, as a feminine, are moving away from yourself and towards your masculine, what happens in this mirror on the opposite side is your masculine moves that way too. Because he's moving towards you but away from himself, and that's the opposite of what this connection's about. When this connection's about bringing yourself into union, you are at this stage, feminines, where you've turned around from this way and you're now facing this way and focusing on yourself and your ascension. So in turn, as that happens, the same thing's going to happen this side, because it's a mirror example. So as you heal, they heal. As you love and become love, they become love. As your masculine energies awaken and you start putting in boundaries, like I think has happened with this, and you start focusing on you and being this empress, the shift and the energy that you're throwing to your masculines all this time starts coming back over towards you, and then your masculine this side will feel that energy void almost, or that vortex of energy that's not there anymore, and they'll want to bring that back into harmony. So the two things are constantly doing this, you know. And actually with love, you're going to be so unbelievably proud, you know, that your feminines are doing the work for themselves. That's going to make them happy, but in turn trigger them to do the same thing, because you're mirror opposites, you know. Whole time you're running that way, your masculine's going to be doing the same thing. No, stop running this way, or, you know, stop chasing your masculine, which is this side, and start chasing yourselves. That brings, for me, it's like that infinite. It brings the cycle and the fluidity and the movement of that energy. It becomes equal, it becomes balanced, it becomes harmonious. And that's, after all, what you're shown in the beginning as a motivator for you to find that harmony within yourself first. Yeah? Right, so blockages for the divine feminines in no communication and or separation, please, Spirit. I hope that resonated with you guys a little bit. Anyway, the sort of mirror example. I'm a visual person, so for me, sometimes I see snapshots of things in my head and it's easier for me to understand it. Okay, so blockages, yeah, look. The blockages prior were you not focusing yourself, you not focusing on your own healing and your own process, because in the upright, the Four of Swords is about healing, taking time to just mentally recharge, regroup. And in the reverse, the blockages were you not doing those things, because your masculine will want to see you doing those things, because once you lead, they will follow. You know, they'll have no choice. Well, they do, but I don't think there's freedom of choice. I have this whole debate going on in my head about whether there's choice surrounding a twin flame connection, because I don't think any of you consciously choose it. It happens at sometimes the most difficult at times because it doesn't take into account the physical situations that you've got going on in the 3D, and it can feel in the beginning intrusive until you reach a stage where you recognise and understand that this was a choice, a soul choice to incarnate in this earth to reconstruct what the paradigms are on love. And that's why everybody's story and journey is different with similarities. I feel here, guys, that the blockages for feminines have been you chasing, wanting about action, you passionately and chasing this connection, and you've been avoiding going within. And to be honest, I do feel almost like that chasing hasn't felt like a burden for you, but I do think you've realised that it's just not moving forward in the right way. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. There comes a point when you recognise, oh, this is not working. And you have to shift it up and change your approach. And I think that's where you're at. I think you're changing your approach. So feminines, I'm going to take a little look now as we move into the final part of this reading for you guys on its actions now. So this could be for the next few months, but remember the readings are timeless. So when you watch this, if the reading's right for you, what I'm talking about here is actions in the next months for you, regardless of when you watch it. All right? So what's it? I trust in love. Oh my God, I'm getting all emotional again. These readings, I swear, the energy sometimes, they really get to me. I trust in love. Unwavering faith. Releasing attachment, surrender and faith. And bring it all back to love. I'm not afraid to shine, yeah? Hey. You feminines are not afraid to shine. You're dancing to your own rhythm and just doing what you need to do. Whoop, whoop. And we do a fist pump. Right, so we're just going to look at actions with the tarot cards now as well, just to delve into that a little bit more for you guys. Yeah, if you like this new format of reading, please do, leave a comment and let me know. Because like I said, I like to mix things up from time to time, just to see what people think as well. Actions for divine feminines in no communication and or separation. So the actions in the coming months are moving away from conflict and feeling left out in the cold by connection, this connection, releasing that sort of energy of feeling stuck and trapped. So that's definitive. You're no longer feeling left out in the cold, you're focusing on your own healing and happiness. That cycle, well and truly over. Well and truly over. And instead of looking back at this with pain and lack, you guys are looking at this connection with happiness, with love. The Six of Cups is, for me, it's a card of nostalgia. I feel that you are looking back at the situation with fond memories and love, appreciation, and a key word here, gratitude, for all of the gifts and the lessons that this connection brings each and every one of us. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel like a gift, but when you work through it, come out the other side, it really, really does. You may even see a small apology coming into the mix from your masculines, because you've got the masculine energy there holding that cup of flowers. All right, my darlings, that concludes your reading. So I'm going to move on to the masculine part of the reading. The time is 24:16. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. And if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button at the bottom. And if you hit the bell, you'll also be notified when I upload new readings as well. So again, thanks to everyone who's subscribed, and I'll catch up with you guys next week, and we'll see what's happening then. Masculines, hello, welcome in. It's Colleen from Soul 1111. I hope you're well. I've changed the formats of my twin flame readings, and this week I'm going to be doing, this reading is going to be for twin flames that are in no communication and or separation. So I'm going to try and split these down into subcategories to see if I can pick up on a wider collective based around their circumstances, rather than one collective overall and that changing each time I do a reading. So I figured this might be a better way for doing it, so you can go straight to a reading that's actually, that's meant for you. The readings are general, so if it doesn't resonate, then it's not your energies I'm picking up on, but do check back next week. And if the reading does resonate, let me know. Please do let me know what you think about the new format as well, and whether you think it works better. Because if people like it, then I'll continue to do them this way, so we'll see. So we masculines, the first thing I'm going to do in this new collective of reading is looking at heart space and head space, as we normally do, so what you're thinking and how you're feeling. I'm then going to be looking at what blockages there are, and then what the future actions are going to be. So as you know, the readings are timeless, so when you watch this, if this message resonates, when I talk about the actions, I'm talking about the actions for the next few months, but that will be relative to when you watch this video, because the reading resonates with you at that time. I also, if I use the words he or she, it's not based around gender, it is purely just based around energy, as you know, within the twin flames. We're all made up of masculine and feminine energies. So again, for some of you, if you're balancing between the two at the minute, both sides of the readings may resonate as well, So, what are you thinking about this connection at the moment whilst you're in separation and no communication? My soul yearns for you. I feel that in the previous reading, guys, if you watched that for the feminines, I feel that this latest separation phase is something that they have instigated with you, and I do feel honestly that that's obviously triggered this lack, because when we're energetic beings or energetic souls, when you're used to having that energy exchange with someone and suddenly that stops, you will feel that void, really, almost. But in healing and raising your vibration to masculines, that will then find harmony. It's not please don't think that separation is a negative thing. It's an opportunity for both of you to heal. And that's a huge gift from one to the other, because it gives you time to allow the energies within the connection to settle. And it gives you an opportunity then to sort of look above the parapet and sort of work out what your next steps are going to be. I think both parties in this connection can equally agree that sometimes the energies can be somewhat overwhelming, and it's being able to just bring about that change you need to see. And actually, I'm sure a lot of you are quite proud of your feminines for sort of standing their ground and taking some time out for themselves, because after all, this journey is primarily about coming into union with yourself. The physical reunion with your twin is separate, is a secondary part of that process, as you know. And even for some, that physical reunion is it happens in the physical, but it's not always romantic as well, so I think a lot of you are feeling you're feeling your feminine's absence, but I think this has triggered a huge shift in you masculines. We'll see what the cards have got to say, but the energy I'm feeling for this straight off the bat is that. And I think you're seeing a lot of signs and synchronicities at the moment. So numbers haunting you is your twin flame in your dream. I said this previously in the last reading, so it's quite interesting in the communication reading that I did for twin flames just now, that I think the masculines pulled the same cards. So again, there could be some crossover there. But this is what happens when you go through a period of awakening, or you go through a period of separation, which can trigger awakenings within you. The universe can, and the angels can kind of become a little bit more present, and that's just to give you signs that you're on the right path. Right, so let's take a look with the tarot deck, sweethearts, on what you're thinking at the moment about this connection. Okay, so in your headspace at the moment, masculines, I feel almost when you put the Ace of Pentacles, this is about new beginnings in the physical, and at the moment, I'm going to give you some advice here. If you're in a position where you're feeling the loss or the lack of your feminine's presence right now, you can bring about change and bring about a new beginning. And when we take a little bit, sorry, I'm going to start again. When we look into this further within the reading, I'll be sure to give you some further advice on that. But at the moment, there is a blockage preventing a new beginning within that. And I think that's because intuitively, you know right now, the best thing for you to do at the minute is to focus on yourself. You know, the Hermit energy here is one of wisdom, but it's also kind of like shining the light for others to see. And I feel a little bit like your feminines, when your soul's yearning for your feminine, it's almost like you're shining that light to still see that they are still there. But really, they're always there. They are the light. And together and individually, this is about being the light and following your intuition and connecting to source, connecting to yourself. Masculines, if there's any advice I can give you in your headspace at the moment, the Eight of Pentacles is about putting in the work. And right now, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's a time for you to be putting in work. When you've got two pentacles in the physical that are coming out in the reverse, this isn't, for me, a time for you to be working hard on the connection. This is about working hard on yourself. It does feel quite heavy for you guys though. I do feel almost a bit like this late separation phase for you, my darlings, has come as a bit of a shock maybe. And please know, in the physical, when the feminines are taking this time out for themselves, it's not because they don't want you or they don't want to be around you. They're not rejecting you or abandoning the connection, because the connection is in here. It's almost like it's in the blood, really. It's not something that you can truly run away from. I mean, you can for a period of time, but ignoring your soul and ignoring your intuition can become quite a painful thing, which is why there will be signs and synchronicities. There will be an unsettled energy to you when you go through these periods, because there will be wounds within you, masculines, that you've been no doubt carrying around for a very long time, for lifetimes even, or they're wounds that you never even realised were there. And then when something like this happens, it brings to the surface all the sludge and gunk that you're carrying around within you, and that can be quite unnerving. And sometimes in life, I feel mentally here for you guys in your thoughts, your headspace. Sometimes no action is the best action. My advice right now is to take the time that you need, because stepping forward too prematurely can sometimes exacerbate the energies within the connection, and actually neither of you will set out to intentionally upset, hurt the other, but this connection was brought about purely to show you the areas of yourself you don't love, because your twin is a direct but opposite mirror of yourself and your soul. And whilst you know it can be very confusing when you don't understand, or perhaps your conditioning forces you to not believe, or you're used to finding safety and security in what is tangible, what you can physically see. Feelings historically can be very grey, but you know what the real hard facts of this world are? Before you were taught how you should be, what you should think, what you should do, how you should behave. We were all babies in our mum's arms with no fear. No fear in the world. Fear is something we've been taught. Fear is something that hasn't even happened yet. And fear, sometimes that fear that we have doesn't even exist. It's something that our egos put there to protect ourselves just in case. I wonder how many times, masculines, you've said to yourselves, I've got to be prepared for all eventualities. Why do you? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only thing, as I said in a previous reading, that is guaranteed is right here, right now. And the question that you need to always ask yourself is, what do I need right now? Not tomorrow, not last week, now. In this present moment, what will make you happy? It's doing what's right for you and not what's right for everyone else, or not doing what's right for you and not what's expected of you. Right. Heart space from masculines. How are you guys feeling? What was I just saying about what feels right for you? Of course you're figuring out how you feel. This connection and this recent separation has taken its toll, and I think it can be very easy to assume on the face of a situation that there's no changes going on because they're not something you're seeing. But rest assured, when you're like a swan and you appear gracefully above water to everybody else in your life, but underwater you're pedalling like mad to get from A to B. Sorry, there's a fly and it's driving me mad. It's raining, so I don't want to open up the door here. It's miserable as sin. But yes, sorry, where was I? Let me regroup. I'm not surprised that the situation has caused you to contemplate how you're feeling at the moment. And actually, you know, the second card that came out in the heart space is that you're working on balancing your energy, and this kind of mirrors this Hermit card really. It's needing to find that balance. And like I said to you earlier, this isn't about you doing what's right for everyone else or what's expected. This journey is about what is right for you. And that may not come natural to you guys. And I think in this journey, when typically the feminine energy may awaken more or first, they may not in all cases. I'm just taking a general view. It can be difficult when you don't understand a situation to then figure out what you need to do next, and trying to process a 5D soul level connection in the mind of a 3D logical King of Swords brain can be very, very difficult because you feel like there's pieces of the puzzle missing. And when you're taught to believe in what you see, it can be very difficult to kind of deprogram going with what you feel. And then on top of that, when you've got this level of expectation on how you should behave, how you should show emotions, how you should feel, how you should react, there is that element of almost having a puzzle in front of you where there's some of the pieces missing and you can't quite format the picture. What this process is, masculines, is kind of messing up the puzzle and then you creating your own picture of who you are before you were told what to be, how you feel and what makes you happy. And then secondary to that would be obviously what you can do to make it better. But the first step in this is acknowledging that you have intuition, and whilst you may have put that to one side and ignored it at points in your life, I feel like some of you have, you know, the intuition's there and you've ignored it, and perhaps at those points when you have ignored your intuition and you've gone with logic, you've realised you've made a big mistake. And my advice at this stage is not to go with a plan. Allow your feelings and what you want to flow. Emotions are fluid, or they should be. And I think a lot of masculines out there are taught to, you know, it's almost like having a bridge with water that flows underneath it. And you're taught over the years to put a rock there and go with, box off the emotions. And each situation that happens, you're putting a brick down there, stemming that flow of that water. And that water is your emotions. You're just blocking them out one by one. And eventually, under that bridge becomes a dam. And you're protected because you're functioning in the ego mind, and that's not a bad thing. You're functioning from a point of logic, and you're functioning from a point of physical tangibility. But we are all emotional creatures, and that black and white is not a truly organic and authentic way for any human stroke soul to exist. And once you start seeing that, and this water starts building up the other side, there's pressure when you meet your twin flame, because all of these coping strategies and all of these things you've learned and all of these rocks that you've put there to block off your feelings, they can't be ignored. And one by one, it's removing that rock to enable the water to flow that will breathe new life the other side. And yes, fine, this side of the dam is the life you've always known, and that's where your house is built and where everything that you've formatted your personality and being on resides. But on the other side of this dam, when you allow the emotions to flow through and you move and heal those rocks one by one, you're breathing new life into this, and the possibilities within that then become endless. At the very least, masculines, you've got fluidity for emotional flow within your life rather than blockages. And the more you suppress emotion and the more you try and deny that we are grey emotional beings, not just black and white logical beings, the more whole and rounded you will become. And that's a really good place to be in. Denying yourselves of emotions because of societal programming is just not right, it's not just, and it's not fair. And it's that suppression that can lead to people getting ill. It's that suppression that can lead to triggers of not feeling good enough, because underneath it you just want to cry at a situation but you can't. You know, you've got to have that stiff upper lip, as they say, you know, as British people are supposedly have. But I encourage emotion. I encourage you to feel whatever emotion it is and be able to feel it in that bridge and then let it go. That term, you know, water under a bridge, let it flow. Those blockages are unhealthy. And they're certainly not going to help you when it comes to reuniting or uniting with yourself and your soul and what makes you happy and your twin. Let's look at, like I said, the heart space and how you're feeling about this connection. I know you're trying to figure things out, and if there's any advice I can give you masculines is feel your way through it. Don't think your way through it. Yeah? Yeah. Look, in the heart space at the moment, masculines, you are 100% not following your intuition, and this is where that yearning is coming from, you know, here. Not just missing your twin, but your soul's song screaming at you, and this is causing upheaval. I also feel, you know, the star car in the upright is about wishes being granted, and I feel almost like this latest separation has really rocked you. It's left you feeling more alone. But if you look at this star card, there's water in this as well, which is emotion. And I feel like you've been denying your wish for emotional fluidity here. Look, no sooner did I give an analogy of a bridge and rocks. Look, there's water flowing in this, and that water represents emotion. And that's been a challenge for you. Excuse me. It's honestly been a really huge challenge for you masculines. I do feel like in your heart space you are reflecting and you are desperately wanting union. Three of Cups is about union and celebration, and I feel like you're missing that from your feminines. And look at the energy of these two with the High Priestess. That's all about intuition. And look at these two, they come out in reverse, but how much feminine energy is there? You guys are in, you know, when we talk about twin flames and we talk about the yin yang and we talk about masculine and feminine energies, we're not talking about gender masculines, yeah? And within you, as a soul, you have yin and yang, you have masculine and feminine energies. And I feel that this blockage that you've got is because you are denying your intuition. You're denying how you feel about this. You're trying to avoid it or bury your head in the sand or not face it. And as much as it's painful to release those rocks one at a time, this is the necessary thing for you to feel and have union. This is a necessary part of the process, and I feel a little bit like your feminine energies are starting to awaken and they're starting to gnaw at you a little bit, and I feel that that's causing a bit of unsettled unrest. The energy I'm feeling, it's a bit unsettled is what I'm feeling here, guys. I'm going to take a look at the blockages for you masculines now. Yeah, my advice, don't figure your feelings out with thoughts, figure them out with feelings. Use your intuition, that High Priestess energy, tap into it, because that energy was within you all along, before you were told who to be, before you were told how to deal things. We come into the life as that, you know, as that. But, you know, masculine and feminine energies. Okay. Yeah. So the blockages at the moment are that I feel that there's some remorse here, masculines. I feel like perhaps maybe you approach the situation with your feminines in a really logical way, and that's come across quite cold. And in doing so, your feminines have kind of drawn a line, and this is what perhaps triggered this latest separation phase, as their masculine energies are waking up and they're saying, you know, putting boundaries in place. As they do that, your feminine energies will awaken, if you go with it. And again, I don't know how to express myself. I'm sorry I hurt you. So feminines, cross-watching feminines, this is how the masculines are feeling, and these are the blockages for them. And it's been the blockage for your connection, I believe. And when I talk about expressing yourself, that you masculines, when you connect to your intuition and your soul, and do you know what, guys, I'm drawn back to this Three of Cups card in the heart space, and there's a reason, because there's Three of Cups, and this was similar in the previous reading, where you've got one cup for you, one cup for your feminine, and then one cup for the divine, your divine guidance. And it's one cup for you, them, and your journey together. And this fulfillment is about you connecting to yourself 100%. The union cannot happen without that, masculines. It can't. Yeah. Woo. Okay, so I was talking about feminine energies, and what's really strange in this is that in the previous reading, the feminine's got two kings. They got a King of Wands, and they got I think it was a King of Wands and a King of Cups. You guys, in your blockages, are the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. So there was definitely some confusion and upset surrounding how you communicated to your feminines, and that's brought about them drawing a line in the sand for the time being. Because I truly believe when there's love, you can't, excuse my language here, but I do cuss sometimes, and it's not meant with venom. It's just an expression, and I don't find it disempowering. I find it empowering to just kind of release it in a way that's not offensive. But this communication that you had was very cutting, and I feel like your feminine has said enough of that shit and drawn a line in the sand. But recognise you cannot fuck up a twin flame connection, because that connection is already there regardless of the physical. And when the union within has happened and it's coming from a place of love, there will always be a byproduct of that will be forgiveness, you know. But at the moment you are struggling on how to act, and how to talk, and you're struggling with the right way to express yourself in terms of actions with your feminine, and also with communication. And this latest separation where your feminine has gone enough and drawn a line in the sand, it's caused a massive shift in you. And her DM awakening, her energies with her DM awakening have woken your feminine energies. And you know what? That must be quite scary for you guys. But I promise you, if you follow your heart and not your head, you will come out the other side of this. Okay, so we're going to look, masculines, at actions for the coming months. Okay, so yeah, the actions for the coming months. I feel that you are going to go through a period, masculines, of feeling quite restless and anxious as you sort of acclimatise to this new soul song that's going on within you, and as you focus on your own awakening and ascension. But what I feel will happen as you start figuring out your feelings and you alleviate the restlessness and the anxiousness, you'll tap into your spirit, as I said here, and your intuition and your feminine energies, and you will realise that you're not alone. Yeah, you are getting support, not just to bring about healing for you, but to bring about reunion within this connection, and you know, to reinstigate contact. So I'm just going to take a little look with the tarot cards for you, sweets, just to see what the actions are going to be for the masculines in no communication and on separation, please. Masculines, you're not going to go rushing in with communication and chop your feminine at the knees like what may have happened. I think you know, in the future, actions are going to be that thought out communication and actions. And actually, this restlessness and this anxiousness, you're going to move away from that. You really will. Not you know, instead of crying over spilt milk and loss, you're not going to be, as you heal and ascend, that yearning that you're feeling and that lack that you're feeling, you'll overcome it. Because that Five of Cups has come out in the reverse, and in the upright that is like lack and pain and hurt. And actually, that's you know, in the next few months that's going to shift. But in the immediate, you're just going to take a bit of time out. A bit of time out. Connect with yourself, connect with source. In turn, by default, then connect with your feminines. Use your intuition as your guide, and I promise you, the anxiety and the restlessness that you're feeling and the yearning, it will come about. If you feel you need to apologise to your feminine, and it feels right intuitively for you to do that, you do that. Because if that's something that you feel needs to be said, I can't see that hurting. Alright, my darlings, that's going to bring this reading to a close. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you did find it useful, please, you know, drop me a comment. I always reply to them all. But yeah, no, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for checking out the channel. Please hit the subscribe button wherever that is for me. And as I said, I've got Instagram, so if you want to see sort of weekly readings on there too, follow it. It's the same as the YouTube channel, Siempre Soul 1111. Alright, darling, I'm going to check out now, but I'll catch up with you guys next week. Take care. Bye.